Hey, Tom Lando doing another live stream on YouTube. Part 3 Soviet Special Forces. Same kit. You know, I think I showed off the box, but I never tried this kit. This is Natalieri kit that I got for a low price of $2. $2. And so man, this it's been a bit weird, this streaming interface. Oh well. Anyway, so yesterday we did black boots and we did some more light tan hats. And yeah, it's a bit early today, but thought I'd throw it on because I don't know. Don't really feel like doing anything else, and the light will start coming in, and I think it will be okay. I'm just checking over boots from last time. We may want to, if there's any patches of the boots that are not fully covered, that sort of thing, we may want to just slap that on while we're slap that on today. I think it is just this guy who's got a little bit of chipping on his boots, so we'll put him off to the side. Actually, you know what? We'll do him first. Why not? It's a little job. Just a little job with some little boots. Little boots. Little boofs. It's my friend Jess. She streams on Twitch. It's in the chat yesterday. Oh, man. You know what happened since yesterday? Nothing. Oh, shoot. I got out the wrong paintbrush. Not bad. So, just for the sake of mentioning, what we're going to be doing later, and probably for the bulk of this video, is we are going to be, much like in the previous videos, I'm going to be doing a mix layer. Kind of, I'm not sure. I was about to make a statement, but I'm not certain of it, so maybe I should just hold off on that. I guess what I was thinking was I tend to think that the the mixing is best for the layer part of the process, because I prefer, so I guess the fact is, layering is when you want some more specific coloring, and highlighting and washing, you just want dark or light. There's not a lot of reason to do that whole to mix paints together. So I guess this is the part of the phase when we do mixing, if we do mixing at all. Hopefully this guy. Anyway, so all that I was saying, just to get to the point, get a very roundabout because I got kind of distracted. To this point that we're going to be doing another layer mix. This time we're going to be mixing white and green drab to create a lighter green. The idea being that with these models, I am generally trying to get a lighter palette going in general on a lot of these guys. So part of that is a result of my experiences with the last kit, my British Desert Rats. Because once I applied the wash, granted, I probably applied it like too liberally and too dark, but basically I lost certain details that I had done on the miniatures, and I'm thinking to make it more resistant to that sort of washout effect. I can just make the models lighter so that the washing has less extreme darkening effect. Hope that makes sense. Stirring them up. Stirring them up. Another one of those crazy suicide dreams last night. It's wild shit. I've got this weird situation with this white paint where like the inner cap is kind of broken off into. Maybe I should just toss it, but it gives me trouble every time I take the thing apart. On the plus side, every time I open it up, get some white on my thumb. On the plus side, though, looks like our green is nice and thick. Shouldn't have too much trouble with that. There. Hairs. Oh no. Too much pigment. This is basically a dry. God damn. I don't see that one coming. Made a critical error. Thought the paint on the cap of the green was going to be wet, and it is not. It is effectively the jelly of a dry paint. God damn. Hopefully that fixes it. When the paint is wet, you can effectively dip with one color in without leaving it behind. But with the dry jelly, you'll definitely stain that clump of jelly, let me tell you. doing these single dips as I'm saying with the white as it is. I guess the lesson there is don't try to do that dip technique with the inside of the top of the cap because that stuff will probably be drier and my dog's. It's gonna be loud. I'm not sure. I was just trying to listen there. So right now we've got a fairly looks like kind of a gray green, which I'm pretty fond of. Really, I'm pretty fond of working with like a very kind of paled out green. Anyway, so I guess we're just gonna start applying it to this guy. Kind of layer him up. The thing about this, so the previous guys we did tan, and that's cool. Their clothes are just tan. You know, that's a basic layer. These guys with the green clothing, the green uniforms, they have a bit of camo patterning, which I feel pretty much. I feel confident enough to do. I don't think I'll have too much trouble with it. Say that now, but we'll see. Anyways, point being, so these guys will be doing this light green on. Yeah, I definitely hear a dog. I'm gonna have to go deal with that. Let me capture a disaster in my absence. What kind of dog goes out in a deep freeze like this? A snow dog. That's who. I'm not sure he's a snow dog. Okay, I'm just gonna start over. You know, let's not take risks. Let's not take unnecessary risks this morning. That dog's gonna bark. I'm gonna have to let him back in. It's inconvenient. Normally, I'd be a bit more irate about it. I'd be like, dang. I guess that's more of a thing I have when I'm like doing something on my computer. Maybe it's because this is a meditative exercise and that's not. But I was about to make a false conclusion there, which fact is I can get irate while I'm doing this. Which is generally a sign to take a break. Doing this while you're all irritable, you're very, very liable to make mistakes. Make things worse, that sort of thing. You know? Just trying to make sure that I have this light green properly balanced once I apply it again so that there's not like an unevenness to the coat of paint that I'm applying. Yeah. There we go. Once I've got a little bit more of this guy done, I'll show him off to you. So hopefully you're seeing a little bit of it. It's one of the advantages of using these bright mixes for my layering is that in this stage you can definitely see from over there the difference when I have applied the layers and I have not. But I mentioned last time, I've tried to change my setup so you're seeing the process a bit more than you are seeing me and my dumb gob. Oh man. Gobs plenty. Dumb gobs plenty. This world's got dumb gobs plenty. Thin this out a bit with some water. There we go. I'm getting a bit better at this, getting some of my old skills back. I'd taken a break from this hobby for years, I guess, and coming back to it, rusty as hell. I got some bad models over there. They're not terrible. It's just like there's some dumb mistakes, and I don't know. Maybe that one is terrible, but point being, had to regain some of my skills, I think, and I think they're coming back. I'm just a little bit more like, when I do something, it is what I intended to do. And I'm like, okay, I think I'm on to something here. Little bit more green, a lot more white. That may have been too much white. Damn it. Yeah, here. I really gotta clean up this space. You, the viewer, may have noticed, but I should probably clean up this space. One trick when you're doing that dipping technique to just quickly dip a color into another color to get it without having to wash your brush. It's risky and it's kind of lazy, I guess, but you don't want to. You really just want to dip. You don't want to keep your brush in the other paint too long, or it will. The initial color will drift off into that pot, and that will potentially contaminate it. It's bad stuff, man. More water. I think so. As an example of what I was saying, getting a bit better, having what I do be what I intended to do. The example there that I keep sort of noticing is now when I say a bit more water, add the water, paint becomes the layer that I want it to be. In the past, I'd go add a bit of water, and it would just be a wash, and it would not. I'd be like, oh, too much, man. Kind of done that this time. as if to demonstrate. It's still pretty effective layer though. Let me see from over there. All right, let's sort of give a little example. Ooh, geez, the light. Oh, the sunlight. It's not helping you at all, man. Oh. Yeah, sorry, it's all lit up right now. Maybe I'll wait. Maybe I'll wait. I don't know. Will the elements allow me? If I, no, that doesn't make things better. We put it in shade mode. Nah, I don't know. Sorry, guys. One thing is like with this mixing, I am pretty consistently risking that the mix is going to get uneven at different points. And so maybe, I finish and I look at it and like one pant leg is lighter than the other because the mix just happened to have more white at that time. That's actually a literal example because that happened with one of the tan guys that I was doing last time. Fact is though, when you do this layering part, and I've effectively said this a few times now, I think, but like the layering you do a couple of times and you can always kind of correct as you go. You know, if I see that something is uneven, I can just go over it again. That's the whole put on a new layer that's just a bit more correct. Got a bit more green or a bit more white, what have you, whatever you need. And we are taking our time with it. It's just one guy out of two. Just trying to get it right, Let's do it right instead of doing it wrong. I definitely recommend before doing these guys, I did like if you're new at this, I definitely recommend taking a few kits that you're less jazzed about and just sort of experimenting with them because that's what I did with some of my previous kits there, like the Desert Rats, and it has really helped in terms of like, yeah, it's just good practice for when you do one that you're really excited about and you want to get right. This is a fairly gratifying experience of like, yeah, I know what I'm doing. Too much water there. Oh well. Shit happens. Just had a little frustration there. A little bit of pigment that had been hanging onto my brush for a little while there. I kept trying to get it off and it just stayed on. And I was like, well, okay. Finally came off. And of course, it comes off on the model. So he's got this big clump of color on him. Doesn't look right. That's not right. Hmm. As always, the more the more of the layer you apply in this initial phase, the more you're like, oh, what haven't I done at this point then? So trick is you gotta keep checking, be like, did I get everything layered that I needed to have layered? This is the only guy in this group, fun fact, who has a green hat instead of a tan one. Maybe that's what makes him the leader. A bit dry there. One thing that I would like to do is like eventually become faster at this. I'd like to do some like Forged in Fire style challenges where I have like 3 hours to do like each part or something. Y'all know Forged in Fire? Shit. Important that we not forget to do the underside of his hat, even though it's much smaller than other hats you've worked with thus far. Sure. I got that sucker. Just inspecting this guy very carefully. Make sure I've got all our layers, all our layering done. Will the light allow you to see? Doesn't look like it. Well, we did our best. Moving on to the next guy. Getting him with the same colors. Hitting him with the same thing. One thing I was thinking was if I do a stream in the future, one time I should do one where I paint pre-assembly, you know? It's a thing some people advocate very strongly for it. The idea that you should paint before you construct the model. Well, the situation like I have here, it's a fairly prudent idea because this guy he's all crouched and whatnot. It makes it very difficult to do one part of the model without splashing the others. And while that's not as big a concern as you'd think, in terms of like, it's very easy to fix down the line. It won't come out that much once you apply your good wash and your good highlight. Only if it's good though. So I'm doing a fair bit of splashing here because this guy's all folded up and got all his parts next to his other parts, but I'm not too worried about it. This is early days. A lot of dead air today. What can I say? Started early. That's what we get. Paint all over my fingers. Made it too wet. Too wet. Made it too wet. Oh no. Splash some layer on my black that I did the other day, which I just said it's not that big a deal, but I guess I was frustrated because the boot seemed so done. Should have known that wasn't to last. Oh, that's the dog bell. BRB, folks. Went ahead and grabbed my cookie while I grabbed myself a cookie while I was at it. Mm-hmm. Good cookie. Good cookie. More white. Need more white. Put more white. I feel like I'm getting impatient, getting a bit more sloppy. May just be the way to power through with this model, though. As I mentioned, these all folded up. It makes it difficult. Best with this guy, despite the aforementioned being all folded up issue. Oh no. Just straight up scratch some paint off. Shouldn't have done that. Oh, well. No matter. I am just gonna slap some black back on those boots. Exciting reboot Black in action. Ah! And dropping stuff. Probably a sign I should take a break. Going about almost an hour now. This is a real trick about my idea about doing these Forge and Fire things. I barely do this in an hour. You barely do one thing an hour. I just had a realization that while we're putting black on these boots, we could also put black on any binoculars on these models. So I'm going to do just that. First, I'm going to try and pick out a little hair that's gotten in there. There are two sets of binoculars. They both belong to the gentleman in green. I don't know if that's significant. I'm very well researched on these guys. I just hope I didn't accidentally call them Spetsnaz at some point, because I'm pretty sure they're not Spetsnaz if they're, I think that's the whole distinction, is that these guys are Soviet special forces. Got those binoculars done. Yeah, I think we're going to take a break here. The guy here, do you see maybe? No, it doesn't look like it. Hopefully that gets the idea across. I don't know. The other guy just assumed that we wash this brush off. Anyways, so show this guy. Sniper dude. Binoculars out. Yeah, so I guess in the future we will be effectively done our initial layers, and then we're just gonna put some color, some base colors onto, well, there's already base color, but basically more layers, but just on smaller details of the model. So accessories, skin. To be honest, I'm not entirely certain what I'm gonna do for these. I think what I'm gonna do is oh yeah, I gotta apply the camo pattern to the green uniforms. I think I'm gonna use regular green drab for most of the accessories, and I'm gonna be using flat tan as well, and black on the guns. Yeah, so basically we're done with the mixes is the point, unless we apply the mixes more for feature layers. We might do that. I'm not sure, to be honest. But yeah, hopefully, I don't know. I don't think anybody learns anything from this, but yeah, we'll see. Maybe I'll be back later today. Who knows? Maybe I'll get that itch again. I guess we'll be trying a different angle here. Shutting these guys off again. Yeah, there we go. Looks almost white with all this sunlight on it. Have to trust me that it is in fact green.